Hey guys, hope everybody's doing okay out there. Jevchance, John, had been working on the cowl panel on his Mustang, and I've already got mine disassembled, and I told him I'd put up a video kind of showing how the details of it going together look. I kind of roughly stuck mine back in position where it goes. I'm not ready to start welding it up just yet. As a matter of fact, a lot of you already saw some of the video without the dash or anything in it, but I went ahead and stuck everything back in here, kind of clamped it in place loosely to kind of give him an idea of how everything goes. But before I actually show the panels, one of the best resources I found off the internet is to buy one of these. They're model specific Osborn manuals. You can get the weld and sealant manual, assembly manual, which basically just shows exactly the same literature that Ford used back when they put these cars together. And I also got the assembly manual, which basically goes into the detail how the windows, doors, hood, all the stuff are attached to the body. These things are super. They're not very expensive, like 20 bucks a piece. This shows in great detail the order that stuff goes together, how many fasteners, what the fastener sizes are. The detail on these is really great. And John, you may actually already have one of these, but I'll flip through here to where this is at. I'm trying to get this where you can see it through the camera. But this shows in large detail where all the fasteners and stuff are, where the spot welds go, how many spot welds are required. And here's a little bit better picture of the balloon assembly, for lack of a better word, or the cowl assembly, upper and lower. And they show it kind of separated right here. How the hats and stuff were put down into the top of it. I think that's about, well, here's one more, showing how the sealant was applied, which is what those ribbons are right there. It even gives you the Ford number, what the sealant was that they recommended. But these manuals are definitely worth the cost of getting them, because it basically shows you, if you're deconstructing the car, how to take it apart, where the welds are. Here's a little elevation detail showing how it is. I'm trying to get it to where the camera's not got lines in it. How the sealing and everything is done. But now onto the cowl itself. Let me get the stand here and put you guys up on the stand so you can watch me take it apart. I'm sorry for the shaky cam. It's fixing to get worse here for just a second. But John, it actually looked like the way yours was set up is correct. The top panel does sit on top of it, and the lip comes up from the top of this cowl panel, basically to tie to the inside of the dash panel. And that's what forms your pinch weld that your windshield rubber or gasket goes over. Mine is turned down inside just like yours is. I actually cut the lower section out of mine to repair the rust. So here's kind of what you were looking at on yours, where this is turned down flat, and then you've got the dash turned up, and that's where all your rust and stuff was. And in a way that doesn't really look right, because you think, well, water can get back in there. But the way the sealing diagram showed was that there's a bead of sealant applied to this. Then this top piece is sit down on there, and it's actually spot welded through the face of that down onto here as well as here. So everything is pulled together to all three surfaces. I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming to mine, because like I said, the center section of mine, starting from right here over to the other side, I replaced because it was pretty rotten. I'm sorry, the ends were rotten, so I cut off and replaced those, but I reused my center section because the replacement panels for these do not come with these bolts inserted in them, at least not the one I bought. The more expensive ones may. So instead of trying to relocate all the mountings for the windshield wipers, the brake pedal mount and all that other stuff, I just went ahead and reused my original center section and just butt welded these end pieces to it, because that's what was wrong with mine, the notorious cowl rot, where leaves and stuff sit down in here. They actually go down through these vents when the leaves and dirt and stuff are supple. They get down in here and they collect down here on this corner, and what happens is they get this drain hole stopped up, and then everything up here just rots out basically, and then every time it rains it fills your floorboards full of water. But basically, John, yours was the correct way. That almost looks like maybe your windshield gasket might have been leaking. Mine was. That's part of the reason my floorboards rotted out on both sides. The pad on this side was rusted out on mine, but the one on the driver's side wasn't quite as bad because it's just like a fresh air intake, but both sides of my floor pans were just toast because the water actually comes down through the vent, and on the other side it was coming down around the edge of the panel itself. Mine was also pretty rotten up here. All of mine started out looking like this. This is what the original panel looks like after I drilled out, I don't know, a couple of hundred spot welds. And I've not actually done a whole lot to the outside of it yet. I need to sand it down again and go back around and fill in most of these weld holes, because there's way too many. Some of them are alignment holes, like some of the larger ones. That's actually what Ford used to put the jig in to hold everything into alignment when they got ready to weld everything up. And like I said, the ends of this started out looking like this after I got everything pulled apart, and then swapped the ends on it and put the new ones on there so they look a lot better. And I'm hoping this will give you some kind of an idea of the detail on yours. Like right here, mine's just a little bit fat, so I need to kind of grind that down just a little bit to where they're flush. I don't know if I'm getting this in an angle or not. I'm having to hold the camera up. The car's up pretty high. Still got to clean my dash and stuff up. I actually put it in a sandblast cabinet and got most of it blasted off, but I got to clean all these remaining remnants of the spot welds that I drilled out of it. Also got to do a little bit of straightening. It's got a little bit of a wave in there. This thing is kind of like what John went through trying to separate all these spot welds. I mean, you'd do, 2 or 3 and think you had it, and you'd go back and there'd be one that you didn't see. So it's just an on and off process trying to get them all cut out of there. Wasn't fun at all. Plus, since I wanted to take the dash out of mine to clean everything up, the bracket underneath the dash where it joins onto the side of the, I'm not sure what you call it, the kick panel, I guess. It had 2 spot welds on this bracket here, as well as the same 2 on the other side, which is what holds the bottom of your dash in place. So I also cut those out, but I left them a little bit proud of the surface so I could kind of tell where they go back as locating devices. That was one thing I had to make sure of when I got ready to take all this stuff apart, is I left enough of the old metal and stuff in place to kind of give me an idea where everything lined back up, even with the holes and stuff. See, like Ford used this hole right here as an alignment hole, but these new replacement panels doesn't come with a hole in them to line that up. So in order to make sure you get everything to fit back right, you got to make sure you leave yourself some reference points. I have cleaned up the back side of this, de-rusted it. Hold on a second. Oh. Sorry for the noise, guys. And basically coated it with a product called Rust Bullet. This was back before I figured out what etching primer and everything else was, but since this is going to be on the inside, on the top, I'm not too concerned about it, but this does give you a little bit better idea. This is the flange that sits against the dash itself, which makes your pinch weld for your gasket, and then here's the side that would go down to the panel that I just replaced. So you're actually spot welding in 2 directions to hold everything together. But yeah, they were pretty serious when they put these things together. I mean, I think somebody said they counted once there's like 300 and something spot welds by the time you get it all apart. And the problem you run into, like John found out, is you've got multiple layers of metal, so you don't know what you're trying to drill through. Right here you've got this brace, which is basically part of your A-pillar, welded in for your dash tank or 2. Plus this panel here also spot welds to it. Then you couple that with the corners of this. They had brazed everything, I guess, to hold it in stationary position while they did all their welding and stuff. Then another issue on these, they've got the clips which hold the trim molding around the windshield, are spot welded to this as well, and I lost a couple of mine in the process of getting this thing off, so I'm going to have to get some of those and put in my pen spotter and put them back so my trim will hold up. One thing I did have to do was drill these two holes, or excuse me, this hole for the windshield wiper, because like I said, the piece that was in here didn't have the threads for the bolt mechanism or anything to bolt to, so I basically laid it out. I think some of the pictures that I showed in one of the slideshows shows laying this out, getting everything lined up. I set this panel back over it, made sure that the hole was in the correct position, cut this piece out of my old one and actually welded it back in to get everything lined up. These things, they weren't really designed to last as long as they have, but the fact that they have lasted this long kind of gives testament to, you know, the quality of the metal and stuff that they used back then, even with the rust and everything. I'm not sure if you'll see any of the cars we're driving nowadays in 40 years. But I've bored you guys long enough. Kind of give you guys an idea of what's been going on. I wanted to make this video for John to show him how this kind of goes together if he hadn't already figured it out. I promised it a couple of days ago, but it got kind of hectic around the house and I didn't have a chance to get up here and make the video. I'm sorry about that, John. I hope it does you some good and I hope somebody else gets some use out of it as well. Oh, did I say I got a new toolbox? Does anybody know about that? Is that sweet or what? That's just awesome. Okay, back to the car. But anyway, if you guys got any questions about this, or if you need any more information out of this manual, unfortunately they are pretty much year specific. I'm not sure if that's to help you or if it's just so they can get more money out of them by selling each year. But if you're going to go to any length at all as far as pulling panels apart or anything else, it's definitely worth the money. I'm trying to remember exactly what website I bought this off of. I can't remember now if it was Eastwood or somewhere. But just do a Google search for Osborn manuals. And I'm sure it'll bring up, you know, tons of sites and stuff for it. You may be able to get them off Amazon, I don't know. But the information, I mean, I sat for days reading these things, trying to figure out exactly how stuff comes apart. So the pictures, the diagrams, totally invaluable. Shows you how everything comes apart, what the sealant's supposed to do, how to apply the sealant, how much to apply. The information in them is basically priceless. It shows you how to put everything back the way you're supposed to. With that, I think I'm going to turn the video off. It's getting pretty long. And I appreciate all you guys watching, all the comments and stuff. And if you got any questions, if there's anything else I can show you guys to help you with any of this stuff, PM me or do a video and ask for some help. Thanks. See you guys later. Do you like your coat? Do you like your new coat? Keep you warm? Yeah. No. He said, yeah, that's good. I can see now. Good boy. That's a good boy.